Hello! Today I am bringing you a discussion video with a lot of examples, which is going to be book expectations, because you always go to a new book, I think, with some sort of idea of how you're going to feel about it. I think it's very rare you go into a book completely just like, I don't know what it's going to be like. I think most of the time you're influenced by like reviews and what you've heard about it. And I have a selection of books here that I did that with, and either they failed to meet my expectations, or they did meet my expectations or exceeded them, etc, etc. The first book I'm going to talk about is one where I had an expectation to not enjoy it, because it's in a genre that I didn't read a lot of, / I hadn't read anything in, and the fact that everyone seemed to really enjoy it just worried me that I wasn't going to like it, but in the end it turned out to be a magnificent book, and that is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. Historical fiction I have read like nothing in, absolutely nothing, and then I picked up this, and honestly, it is beautiful. It is told from the perspective of Death, who follows this girl in World War II as she moves in with this adopted family, and it's just so beautiful. It's so well written, and just generally is a heartwarming tale that made me cry because of the ending, but this is one where I had low expectations because of how I felt about the genre, but proved otherwise. Next we'll talk about another one where I had low expectations, but, you know, I ended up loving it. And that is Armada by Ernest Cline. A lot of people don't like this book. It has like a 3.5 on Goodreads, which isn't particularly brilliant. So I was concerned going into it that I wasn't going to like it as much as Ready Player One. But that was a really dumb idea, because it's amazing, and I loved it. So, you know, it follows a kid who sees UFOs outside of his classroom from his favourite video game, Armada. And it gets so good, and I don't understand the negative press it gets, personally, but that's just my opinion. Next we'll talk about the first one where I had very high expectations and they weren't met. And that is the Old Kingdom Trilogy by Garth Nix. Everyone I've ever seen on Goodreads says this series is amazing. It's over 4 stars as a mean rating, and compared this to the Keys to the Kingdom series, which is just there, they have like 3.8s, 3.7s, which is, you know, very middle of the range. But this book is praised, you know, it's meant to be a groundbreaking fantasy, young adult story. And that's not to mean I say I didn't enjoy it, but it didn't leave an impact. It just was very underwhelming. Like, the whole trilogy was just okay. I was expecting it to be very, very good, because that's what I'd heard. And I was just disappointed when it didn't meet that, but the covers are still pretty, so, you know, you win some, you lose some. Moving on to another win, an absolute victory, where I'd heard this book was the worst by this author. Like, it is not. It's the first book he published, and it just generally is not as good as his later ones, and that is Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. I read this earlier this year. If you know this about me, I absolutely loved this book. I've only read one other book by him, by Brandon Sanderson, but this has convinced me I should pick up everything he's ever written, because it was amazing. The magic system, for one, is amazing. The writing is wonderful. It dealt with so many mature topics so well. It just made me very happy inside, but I'm now worried going into any other book I read by him that they're going to be not as good, because I had such low expectations for this, because everyone said it was his worst book. So the fact that I loved it and gave it like a 5 out of 5 stars just makes me think that I'm not going to enjoy his other ones. Or maybe they're going to be absolutely stunning as well, because he can write anything and I'd read it at this point. Moving on to another one where I had really high expectations and they weren't met at all is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. I read this year, and I'm not going to lie, I pretty much hated the whole thing. I felt the whole story to be very mediocre. Like, there was nothing wrong with the writing, just nothing really happened. I felt like Cassie as a protagonist is very boring especially for the first, like, large section. She doesn't do a lot, and I just didn't enjoy it. And I was really upset because everyone I'd ever seen do a review on this loved it, but I didn't. So that happened. In contrast, though, I picked up the Infinite Sea because I bought it at the same time, so I was like, I'm going to read it because I bought it and I spent money on it. I will force myself to read it. And I had such low expectations. I had, like, but after reading The Fifth Wave and after hearing all the negative things about the Infinite Sea, I had, like, rock bottom expectations, and I gave it a 3 stars in the end because actually this was a pretty... I enjoyed this way more than The Fifth Wave. I think it was shorter and it worked that way. So, yeah, I'm not going to pick up the last star probably, but this, for me, was the better book of the two, which is a very unpopular opinion. So, sorry to everyone who doesn't agree. These are books that I had expectations for, and different things happened. So, this is Unofficial Vlogmas Day 4, and I'm very sorry that my voice was so hoarse throughout the whole thing. But, you know, it's winter in the UK, and winter brings bugs. Oh well. I will see you soon. Goodbye.